said, if you're gonna do a show, what can you do with your PS5? That's what they'll ask if you was to go to Best Buy. And like I said, what is a PS5? It is a game system running at 120 frames per second. It has ray tracing, anti-aliasing, motion blur, you know what I mean? Which anti-aliasing is what? It smooths the rough edges of a polygon. Motion blur is it makes more pixels on your image at 4,320 what resolution up to 8,640 upscaling graphics, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. This is running probably at about, I'm gonna say maybe a little bit more than 512 gigs, about 8 to 12 gigabytes I think of left of internal memory storage. Like I said, if you're buying a PS5, it's probably the best thing. It's a DVR, you know what I mean? You can watch movies and anything is at your fingertip. If you want to watch Bernie Mac, holler at the Elmer Reed show. We can watch Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac is a favorite of my sisters and mine. My mom doesn't always like it because Bernie Mac cuss. But when you're dealing with the kings of comedy, they're more adult oriented, and people forget that my mom's old school, so I'm old school, but she's a little bit more old school. Back in the day, you get your mouth, washed out with soap, for what Bernie Mac says, you know what I mean? But I'm just showing off what we do with our systems, why we buy a PS5. So what are you buying your PS5 for? Hopefully it's not showing off. Hopefully it's not bragging. Hopefully it's not HIV criminalization, which can cause these companies to go out of business quickly, by saying your games are associated with them. You want to be a person that's good, like I said, you can watch whatever shows you want. If you want to watch the Bernie Mac show, you can watch the Bernie Mac. So why are you buying a PS5? Are you buying it for a DVD? Are you buying it to be a digital media device? Are you buying it to stream live television content? You know what I mean? And like you say, you can see Bernie Mac. You can see the show. This is why we buy Bernie Mac. You know what I mean? This is why we buy the PS5. This is why we stream Bernie Mac shows. Bernie Mac was a comedian, a king of comedy, you know what I mean? A public figure, you know what I mean? In the public eye, people gonna get jealous, he made the fame, and now, people make fame and they make fame their way. You're a star when you're born, but what are you famous for? You see what I'm saying? So let me just go back and just show you what you can watch with Tubi. And always add your Tubi app to the PS5. You got a dearth of TV shows. One reason I know that my sister, she gets bored quick. So I brought the Xbox S, which is really all you need, but problem is I was missing the DVD player. So, for that sake, that's why I went that route. No, I didn't want to watch nothing else. And I know it'll go into something else. It's probably the longest thing you ever saw. Let me, if I may. Yeah, I was trying to get it, but it looks like it wants to dingle a little bit. It didn't sleep on me, so I'm trying to see. But we're going to stop it right there. This has been the Elmer Reed live show. Thanks for tuning in. I know my show was a little elongated, and sometimes I try to make them short, but I couldn't help but make this a little bit longer to tell you, if you buy a PS5, know what you're buying it for.